Hey buddies, we're home. This will be a kitty movie review because it's too dark this time of year, so we didn't do it coming out of the theater because it was too dark. That's why. So the kitties will join us. That's the benefit of this. So we just saw Star Wars.
We did.
We're gonna do like we usually do with these. I'm gonna sit on the floor so the kitties can go behind us on the couch.
Okay.
We're gonna do this a little bit at a time, dole it out so that it doesn't feel too spoilery at the beginning. So just like basic overview of like what we felt was, well, I can start. Like it was good.
I'd say the same. It was good.
It was a good thing.
I'd say it's a good movie.
Good thing, not bad thing. And it had like some great battles. This is pretty, like, you know, as you feel more uncomfortable, start to tune out. If you haven't seen it yet, probably if you're a true Star Wars fan, you're going to go watch it first and then
Very soon.
These guys are all over us. You
I
can't
know,
really
but
see
it's
them,
like
but they're all in the
around.
front. Of course they're in the front.
Little buggers.
Get behind us. Get behind. Hey, we should do it for the Christmas tree.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. All right. So, anyways, it had good battles in it, and it had good CG was good when it was used, and the practicals and the puppetry was good when it was used, and it was visually nice. We saw it in 3D, unfortunately. Deacon bought us the tickets for a Christmas gift. So we saw it in 3D, and it actually wasn't bad in 3D. I'd rather not have watched it in 3D, but it wasn't bad.
I don't feel like they did anything too.
No,
like,
they just
in my face and
used a lot of depth. The camera's bumping because of Hugo.
Hugo.
He's just ramming his face against my hand. Like Lisa's being the little Christmas rat. Like that's her spot. It's just like.
There you go, buddy. Yeah.
There you go. This is a pretty drawn out review. It's not succinct, it's not concise.
Yeah.
And the characters, we can start like with the ones you know.
Good idea.
Rey did, I think, what's her name? This is the worst.
I don't know what her name is.
Rey was good.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yeah.
And she continued to do good in this. She has a lot of charisma. She really pops on the screen. And that's what the films, for me, you take away the stars, you take away the wars, and what you're left with is these characters that really just like pop off the screen, that have charisma. And we saw that with Rey, and even with Kylo Ren. Even though I dislike the character, obviously you have to. He's a pouty baby bitch burger.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a fucking loser. He's lame. He has no redeeming qualities, which might actually be one of the worst parts.
I like his voice.
I like the actor, the person,
Yeah.
and despite him being unlikable in the film, your mileage may vary, but I do believe that the actor has a lot of charisma, which is good.
Yeah.
So that helps. Then you got, of course, Carrie Fisher as Leia, reprising her role, and she did well.
Yeah.
I think she did great.
I think
Like,
she did a really
I mean,
good job.
yeah, for me, like, as Leia, I never, with Carrie Fisher, and, like, I liked her in the original films, but she never really made them for me. Like, I think some people were in love with her, but, like, the character itself I thought was always kind of flat. But I think that she did good as an aging Leia. I think it was believable, and like the aging wise Leia sort of was good. Pretty much the same as the first film, I'd say, with a little bit more gravitas added to it.
She was in it a lot more than I thought she was going to be.
Yeah, me too. I didn't think that
Like,
she would be throughout.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be like a snippet here and there. But
They really did finish it with her. They weren't just bluffing. They did finish the film with her. It was clear. These guys are they don't know what to do because we've never like sat around like this before. They're like, what is this all about?
This is new.
And then of course Mark Hamill. You knew he was in it, and as his reprisal of Luke. Man, I can't believe he hasn't had a bigger career. Like, I don't think he wanted one.
Yeah.
I don't like, and I know that he did a lot of voice acting. I'm just saying that he belongs on the screen. He's got it. Like, he has got it.
At the
It's so
beginning,
clear.
Going into the movie, Fraser said that he was there for those little, like...
Yeah, those little guys.
And I said I was there for...
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, for Mark
I
Hamill.
was not disappointed by those little guys. I guess that's a spoiler. There are more than one. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Chewie was in it briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And he was great, of course. Like, he's got the old Chewie charm.
Mm-hmm.
What are other major actors? Okay, so there's
Finn.
Poe and Finn.
Yep.
Which, I can't, like, it feels like you guys know something I didn't, like, that these guys would be bigger in the films than I, like, because if you go by just the first film, it doesn't feel like they're going to be that big of a thing. Like, that these guys are just, like, kind of, like, side characters that are going to be, like, but now they're,
really?
like, clearly, like, especially Poe. Poe
Yeah,
was so
actually, Poe
briefly
was
used in the first film, but everybody's like,
used in a
oh,
lot.
like, I think you guys know from IMDb or something, like, this guy's gonna be a long-term character or something. Anyways, because, like,
thought they
everybody's
were gonna
all
be pretty
about
big into
Poe.
it.
I just didn't see it in the first film. This film, they really double down on Poe, and they give you way more. They actually let you get to know him, and, like, they needed that roguish element, and they got it in Poe. That's what he's there for. So good for Poe, and, like, I mean, he's good. He's a handsome man, and he's got a reasonable amount of charisma. I don't want to get, like, so yeah, we're just going over the actors, like, what we think of them personally, really, and their way that how they are portrayed on screen. So you liked all those? You feel the same way about all those people?
Yep.
Okay. What about Finn?
Finn's okay.
I just find him, he's just, you might as well put a pink balloon on screen and draw a happy face on it, and it would be the same thing for me.
Yeah.
He has nothing for me. He does not.
Strong character. Like, he's not.
It's the character, you think, and it's not. Well, yeah, probably the actor could do
think
better if he was
so.
given better material. It's true. Yeah, the character is written very plainly. He's just a
Yeah.
very plain person.
I
He
don't
doesn't
know.
have
I haven't
anything.
seen him in anything else, so I can't say if it's the actor himself or.
He feels like a person who's like, what you see is what you get. You got him. There's no
Yeah.
depth there. You don't see, like, I'm not ready to be surprised at any time about him. He's just this guy. He's supposed to be this super conflicted guy. He used to be a part of the Stormtroopers and then broke his way out, and now he's with the Rebels. He should have a lot more, like, he should have an edge to him or something, maybe, to make him more interesting.
I
Like,
think
have
that
some sort of a...
he has made his mind.
How-
He's not part of.
Okay, so
baddies.
what I'm just saying is, if he, to have survived in the Imperial, like, system, he should have had some sort of, like, he's such a fucking, like, cream puff. Like, he's just, how did he make it through their, like, what you would think would be, like, one of the most strictest... Look at Phasma, the friggin' leader, which you find more, like, you learn more about in this one. Like, it's a brutal place, I would think. Chrome Dome. You'd think that
Let's
being
go, Chrome Dome.
in there, yeah, and then,
was like-
okay. Phew, and it doesn't help his character that he was the receiver of some of the worst lines in the movie. Him, along with a new character named Rose. It's just... I won't get into details about who these characters are yet, or like how it's just right now. I will say, terrible writing, such terrible melodramatic lines, such groaners, just groaners. It's just like they snipped out the most obvious thing. Like, I could have told you what they were going to say before they said it, just based on, like, knowing how typical these two characters were being written.
Yeah.
That was the worst part about it, was so predictable and just lame to me. We'll get more into that later, but those two characters
I
in
do have
particular
a bit
for me
more
were
to
like
say
a
about
black
that, but
hole.
we
can
talk
get
about
into
that
details later.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the CG characters. Let's talk about BB-8. So if I was being cynical, I'd be like, oh my God, BB-8, he's just such a crazy guy, but look at R2. He's the next generation of R2. You need something for the kids. I loved R2, and BB-8 is the next generation and he's holding up to it. Like, he's doing it. He's not even, I wouldn't even say he's dialed it up to 11. I'd say R2 is just as wacky at his best. So
Yeah.
I would say that he's holding the candle, and it wasn't too bad when you think about it. And he has his actually funny moments. I like that.
And he's very useful as well. He's competent.
He's a very competent droid. He's not a C-3PO who, thankfully, and yeah, the thing is with C-3, I fucking hated C-3PO. Like, I hated him. There's
When you were
nothing
a kid?
redeeming about it. Yeah, no, I hated him. as a kid, and I hate him today. I wish that he was. Well, I'm happy he was in the films because he was there to make R2 look awesome, and he did.
Yeah.
That was his purpose, was to make R2 look like a badass. No, but yeah, I've always hated C-3PO. So yeah, I'm glad that another robot like him isn't in it, and that he is barely in it. Other characters. Oh, and then you got Redhead is back, the commander. The little pouty commander Redhead.
Oh, yeah.
He's back.
For some reason, I was picturing a woman, and I was like...
I don't understand why he's back. He made so many... Oh, actually, okay, there is a little bit of an explanation about them. All right, we'll go into that later then.
He's a great actor, though.
We're going to talk more about CG characters, though. I wanted to talk about... You know what, we're going to start to get into like a little bit, and this isn't plot intensive, but we will start, I just want to cover all the CG characters, because for me, this is what Star Wars always was about. It was about like, you know, this world that just feels so like vibrant, and like there's these aliens everywhere, and everything's so weird, and you can tell that everything has a story. And I want to say that like, talking about the casino scene. They go to this big intergalactic casino, or maybe it's just, no, it's a galactic casino. It's an interstellar, anyways. It's a casino on this planet, and it's just full of aliens. And I think it was clearly a reprisal of the old cantina scene. And it even had music in the background that was similar. And it had all these different types of characters all around, and they have this incredible shot where they go through table to table through the casino, and you're just seeing all these different weird types of aliens and characters and stuff, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that the CG was just a little bit, I was seeing the strings, but they used a good amount of practical plus CG that it felt like just a vibrant, fun scene that makes you want to know more about all these characters. Like, the guy that puts the coins into BB-8. Yeah. It was comic relief, and it was one of the few comedy moments in the film that actually struck true with me. I thought it was pretty funny. The guy he puts. Look at them. Are they really just hanging out down there?
Yeah. That's so cute.
These two usually don't want to be near each other. Well, Lisa wants to be near Hugo. Hugo doesn't want to be near anybody. That's cute. Let's see if I can keep them in the shot.
Okay, let's get our mugs out of here.
And they're very cute Christmas cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how he put the coin in, and then he like looks inside his eyepiece, and he's like wondering why the machine isn't working, and he puts a fucking another one in.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought that was just pretty funny to me.
I thought that was cute. I thought that that scene was really, really cool too whenever they were going through it, because I wanted to like stop and look at kind of each of the people and
I'm
characters.
Sure every one of them will have like its own story in the expanded universe of some kind. You can probably buy a Scholastics book to learn about each one of them.
Mm-hmm. Lisa's trying to get closer.
Then they had the cute little guys that I was talking about that live on the island with Luke. That's where that guy comes from. That was pretty cute to see a whole bunch of them living on that island.
Yeah.
It was like, and this is why I can't get too critical of things like BB-8, which like I like BB-8, but I don't love him. But these guys I loved, and I know it's lame to love him, but I love him. He was just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
They're so cute, and they keep on screaming when like it's sad because they reuse the same gag multiple times. He's on the Millennium Falcon, and he's like, every time they're about to hit something, wah! It's like 3 times probably
and
they
Fraser's
used it.
Like, ah!
I'm like, you did it again. It was super lame, but I love those guys. Yeah. Chewie, it's such a subtle joke too that like Chewie feels guilty and takes them all onto the ship. Like, not just one. He takes so many onto the ship with him.
Whoever wants to come.
Which in a way, he's making a bad situation worse. He's like taking the wildlife from that planet. It's like, dude, Chewie, you're not doing anybody any favors here. Anyways.
Can we talk about the boobs in it?
Oh, the boob animal was a pretty nice touch.
That was very interesting, and I feel like they need to milk them a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, the satisfaction that came out of that character.
That thing? Yeah, it looked pretty happy that it was being milked.
Yeah, man. You gotta milk that thing.
I
lot.
like the fact that so many people are going to be upset by that. I love how many parents in like Bible Belt USA are going to be disgusted and really upset with that.
Yeah.
And I hope they are. I hope they blow a gasket.
Amazing. I quite enjoyed that.
I think that whole island was interesting with those little creatures, those poor bastards who have to be hosts to Jedi.
You know what was really cool, and I was so happy it never came up again, is whenever they're on the island and there's a shot of them walking up the mountain and you can see a sea monster sort of surface and go back under. Did you see that?
Yep. That was a nice little addition.
That it was not mentioned. It was just like, that's a part of
it's a living world, and that's what's important in sci-fi and fantasy, is to like create a living world that like is only hinted at, but not necessarily as you would in a novel, beaten into the ground with, okay, here's this creature that I'm painting for you in your mind, and now I'm gonna like give you the whole encyclopedic knowledge on it or something like that. And then other things were okay. There was those things that they rode around, the little horse guys, which were really adorable as well, and that you really were cheering for. You put adorable wildlife into a film, and you're gonna get me. You're gonna woo me over. That's who I'm gonna be cheering for the whole time. I like those guys, and I guess that's all the CG that was basically in it in terms of like.
Oh no,
Characters or animals?
The crystal.
The
foxes,
crystal doggies were cute. Oh, those were super cute. They were well done. Yeah, I liked those.
Was just beautiful.
Made of crystals, like presumably salt crystals had accumulated on their fur or something like that. Yeah, those were neat.
Yeah.
And they were believable. For the most part, most of the CG. Oh, and I guess we can talk like the biggest CG thing of all was Emperor Snoke, and who you only saw glimpses of in the first film, in my memory, and then in this one, like you're getting close-ups and you're seeing him interact with the actors.
And his face.
And he was pretty. Like I think he was a combo. I think like probably, and I haven't looked this up, so you guys will probably rage at me that I don't know the exact details on this, but he felt like a CG mix of CG and an actor. Like I felt as though the eyes, like it was probably like a makeup, and then they'd grafted on. Obviously, they had to alter him because nobody's skull is structured that way.
Yeah.
So they'd probably digitally altered a real face with makeup to make him look like that. So it was probably a combo because it was quite well done.
It was really, really well done.
And you could see he was so expressive, and you could really like see the sneers and the grins and stuff like that, and they really played well across his face. I thought he was well done.
I liked his proportions as well. Just how he was like so long and skinny.
Right. And he explains why the little bitch commander is around, the guy with the redheaded guy, that he's there because there can be purposes to have occur in your ranks or something like that. It's just, he must be talented though. Otherwise, why? There's got to be a reason. Anyways, he's such a loser. There's plenty. You find plenty. So's Phasma. So let's talk about Phasma and her fate. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Wow. They built up this character, and everybody, I would say the fandom had built her up so much, and the weight laying behind Brienne of Tar's character, the actress being this character, I was like, this character is going to be some badass. This is the next Boba Fett like type of character. That's what we're going to get out of her. Some epic scenes, like some really cool but like subtle scenes where you only see like a little bits of her, but she does some badass things when she's on screen throughout the series. Oh, she's dead now. Maybe they're gonna come up with a reason for her not to be, but I think she's dead now
because she's fucking awesome.
And she's like, I mean, is she though?
Well,
what's so fucking awesome about her? Because she wears shiny armor? She died to fucking Finn. Finn, who is a bumbling. I'm sorry, he's a bumbling oaf.
She's just really good in Game of Thrones, guys.
She's amazing. Finn sucks. Everybody keeps on saying, like, there's these insinuations that he keeps getting through these scenes because, like, there's an insinuation that he may have, like, a little bit of the Force or something in him. It's like, then other people would have detected it by now. Like, fucking Leia would have said something, or fucking Rey would have said something, or when he was fighting Kylo Ren, he would have noticed and said something. Maybe he did. I don't know. Where are you guys getting this from? That, like, what do they insinuate? That he has the Force? But he's been able to wield a fucking lightsaber and like take down people who like train their entire lives in close quarters combat. I mean, probably he had
Maybe
some
that's
combat
why.
training within the stormtroopers. But the fact that Phasma, like supposedly, one would assume, you don't get armor that shiny unless you're elite. You got to be one of the best to
True
get
that.
armor that shiny. They don't just give that out for no reason. What are you doing?
He's trying to eat the Christmas tree.
He
And
doesn't before. He's not going to
that's
start
bad.
now. He's
That's
just
bad,
poking
Kitties.
around. I thought that her fate was just way too quick, way
Yeah.
too lame.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she got distracted by Rose yelling no emotionally and like shooting at her blindly, and then Phantasma's like, oh fuck, that clearly this person cowering behind the crate needs my undivided attention now, and I'm going to shoot at the person behind cover that I can't hit, despite that she's not showing her face or any part of her body in any way. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just fire like 7 shots and then stare at her for a while, and then Poe appears behind her like. That fucking face, like suddenly in this like life or death situation, he's like gonna be like, you know, calm, collected, and an asshole. Like that's a BM in like to make that kind of an expression before you take somebody down. Like I'd fucking report you to Blizzard. Like seriously though, it was just so lame for him to be that smug at that moment.
There were so many instances with those two where, like, they survived and nobody else did.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, okay. Blind luck happens a lot for heroes
It does.
in Star Wars, so I'll give it that.
But the thing that, like, kind of was annoying to me is whenever Rose was, like, she had some, like, smart alecky line, like, wanna ride or something?
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
like she's
like,
acting like
at
nothing
that
big is
point,
happening. Like this is like at one.
everything's, like, burning around them and stuff,
Yeah.
and she's just like, hey, get
Yeah,
on. And I
yeah.
was like, people could still be shooting at you. You
Almost
should have your
every
wits
fucking
about you.
legions of stormtroopers died.
Yeah.
Somehow they didn't.
Yeah.
Somehow Phantasma gets separate, even though she was there about to execute them. She's like 3 blocks away,
Yeah.
and she has to walk to them again. And anyways, yeah, the fact that like it's a life or death situation, the entire rebel all of them are about to be obliterated, and she's just like always has like a smart, quippy one. I get it. She's like the spunky, puckish, like whatever the fuck she's supposed to be. She's not the rogue type. That's Poe. Whatever she's filling a gap that they apparently thought was needed to fill. That they injected her into the story. Maybe they thought that Finn needed it.
Maybe.
Especially since people kept on. I feel like they maybe needed something to make Finn seem like he wasn't a romantic interest in Rey. Like that there was no chance. That's almost like the writer's saying, that's not a thing. Stop thinking about it because we don't want you distracted by the true story here, maybe.
So with the medallion thing, at first I was thinking, like, okay, all the way up until the SkyTrain home, I thought it was her girlfriend that had the other one.
That was her sister.
And then, yeah, I put it together on the SkyTrain.
I think she said her sister.
She did.
Okay.
I put it together on the SkyTrain that
Yeah.
she had told Finn that it was her sister. But I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, that they had a lesbian in that situation. And
Gotta
it
make sure
wasn't,
you-
like, drawn out.
Gotta make sure you tabulate all the cool points. Lesbian, check. Cool.
And so then I was like, but then a thing happened at the end, and then I was like, oh, okay, so maybe she's bisexual. Maybe she just falls in love with everybody she sees. I don't know. And then I put it together.
Let's
And
just
I was like, oh, that was her sister.
let's bury Rose right now.
Bury her.
Yeah, let's bury this. So I can get on with the rest of the film.
okay.
I fucking hated the character, and there's so many reasons why. But the one thing that like puts it all to bed is the fact that she doesn't die. She was supposed to die right there, and I was relieved. She fucking I saved you, dummy. You almost got him killed, and you stopped him from potentially saving everybody and sacrificing his life, which would have been an amazing plan. And how did she fucking get ahead of him?
Yeah, I don't know. She's a mechanic.
And she suddenly can pilot everything.
Yeah. She's a pilot. She knows how to
hell.
fly better than Finn. Like, she tells Finn how
Suddenly
to, like,
she's a
put the
fucking pilot.
thingy down.
Everybody's a pilot. Everybody's a
She
pilot
can
when
do
they need to be. They can.
everything, though.
Everybody can kind of do everything.
Yeah.
When they need to. A lot of people have an explanation for it though, like that they. I mean, you know, Finn presumably may have had some remedial training in flying things. Maybe she did too. But suddenly she's like, not only is she piloting this shit, she out-survived the entire fucking fleet of actual pilots who were trying to figure out how to run these things
like
too.
Way more than 13 of them, 10 of them died. Because they said
Oh,
that there's 13 of them, and I was like, wait a minute.
Did you notice that
so many
the
that are
rebel
dying here.
fleet that was getting away at the very end and trying to get to the planet? Did you notice those numbers kind of fluctuated? Like 7 of them get shot, and when I feel like maybe 7 of them were deployed at the beginning, and then it's like, oh, there's 20 more. Oh shit, like 19 of those 20 are gone. Oh, here's 50 more. Oh, okay, they're all good. They're good. Oh shit, they're all dead. What it feels like that. It's like oh, but they're oh my god. Oh, 7 just got shot, but there was only like 10 to begin with. Oh, wait.
I would like
there's
to
way more
re-see
that
it.
are okay.
Yeah, I would like to see it again to
That
like kind of
happens
count the numbers
a
for both
lot
of those
in
situations.
films.
I would love to think that they did it properly.
It's so annoying
and
when it
just
happens in
felt
films where it's like
wasn't.
it wants you to feel dread, like all is lost, and it's like, oh no, it's not all lost. And it's like, and then well, it kind of is in the end. Like maybe like 7 people survive in the end. And they all just happen to be the main characters who get out the back door.
Yeah.
Good luck. That was good luck.
That's the other thing is they
Thank
talk
God
about
the main
like
characters
how there's
survived.
so few of them that make it, and then they fill these trenches with hundreds of them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fuck
like,
those guys. They're gone. They're dead. Fuck those guys.
Where did they come from?
You would have thought they would have been able to retreat. Like, oh yeah, you're saying where they come from. Yeah, exactly. How were they already ready and outfitted for this? Like, they look like they were outfitted and ready. It was also a rehash of Hoth, which is like, I thought that we were going to be done with this, like the fan service from the first film where they were just basically rehashing the entire plot of the first ever Star Wars film, A New Hope, with even a Death Star explosion and things like that. They reenacted Hoth. I had a feeling they were going to do it when we saw the footage from the trailer, and they did. They reenacted Hoth. They even had, like, the beginning, the evacuation was Hoth-ish, and then at the end, the Imperials coming down a white battlescape was also Hoth.
Oh, okay.
The second movie. It's basically like they rehashed it. And it's like, I really want them to get away from the legacy of Star Wars and create something new. Do something. Stop just always nodding the head.
Yeah,
Even though I understand
like,
the old characters have stories still to be completed, but let's get past using the templates of the old films.
I liked Kylo's idea where like just start new.
Yeah, I like that. There was something that I loved in the film that was acknowledged by Luke, where he says to Rey, I'm so glad they acknowledged this in the writing, says, the Jedi suck. The Jedi, through their history, have sucked. They always suck so bad. They had fucking power, and then they fucking, like, just all around. They're supposed to be able to sense shit. We saw it in the films we just watched, and they're just like, the fucking bad guys just take advantage of them every time. It's like, oh, it happened again. Should we get better at Jediing, maybe?
It's so funny because you're supposed to disagree with him.
I didn't disagree with him at all. I was like, you know what?
Like,
no, you're right, Luke.
losing hope.
The Jedi have always sucked. They've always been terrible. They look badass sometimes when they fight, but no, in general, they've been pretty incompetent. Like, the dark side has had their shit together, despite always, like, designing ships that can be taken down by a single fighter. And I guess that's not really the dark side, that's the Imperials, not necessarily.
Right.
But I mean, you know, the dark side guys, the Sith have always been kind of at the helm. They should, like, realize that that's their one weakness. The one ship being able to take down massive ships is kind of a problem. Which there's another logic in the back seat type of thing where Leia's bridge is shot. Like, the Rebels apparently have the same problems. How the fuck was Kylo Ren able to shoot, or not? Well, he doesn't end up doing those ships able to shoot the fucking and they kept apparently supposedly all the most important people in all of the Rebel organization on one bridge, and it was shot with no shields apparently. Like, the shields were down just for the fighters to get through. Maybe they had some sort of sci-fi explanation for that, why the fighters were able to get through the shields.
Remember if they said anything about
Can
that.
fighters always just go through shields? Is that how it works? If they get close enough, they're able to shoot through the shields?
I don't know.
Anyways,
Hi, friend.
I'm just talking. I would say that, like, one of my biggest annoyances was that often I felt like logic took a back seat. I always have to tap Rudiger's fur to get him well exposed. There we go. I always felt like logic was taking a back seat to. We should face the tree. Maybe it'll be nice lighting that way too.
Let's just do a little rotating.
Logic was taking a back seat to heroism, heroics, and stuff like, and hero shots. That like. He's getting pretty fresh.
TJ.
And I'm not thinking of many examples right now, but often I would just roll my eyes because it was clear that they wanted, like, okay, well, there you go. The freaking purple-haired Jurassic Park lady that says, like, I'm going to stay back. Somebody needs to pilot the ship.
Yeah.
She's supposedly, as Poe mentions earlier, like a tactical and military genius. And he's unimpressed. He's like, doesn't seem like it. I expected different or whatever. That she was supposed to be like somebody really special in the rebel organization, and she is going to stay back to pilot the ship. Mm-hmm. Not a droid.
Yeah.
Like, remember, they only needed to leave this.
Why wouldn't a droid stay?
Why wouldn't a droid stay? Like, or at the very least, if for some reason, like, droids have commonly throughout Star Wars demonstrated themselves to be just as capable as humans, if not more so in many cases, and have cognitive sense. Like, they're not just like computers, they're like strategic minds. Like, these guys can actually like adapt to the situation. Like, fucking leave a droid behind. Leave goddamn C-3PO behind. To like, you know, hell, why isn't the fucking ship got a mind like a droid? Why doesn't it have like the capability to pilot itself? She has to stay behind to pilot it, and not just like, even if a human had to stay behind, not a grunt, not a fucking ensign or somebody who knows how to pilot ships, the fucking like tactical genius, like a general. I think she was a general or an admiral. She's an admiral or something, like, and she's gonna stay behind because like it's worthy to sacrifice her just to have that hero shot. Mm-hmm. So lame.
Yeah.
So lame, the logic that takes the back seat to just...
Maybe there's something we don't know.
Oh, I'm sure that you guys will explain it. You'll retcon it for me so that it makes sense. I'm going to put my... over here again. That's a busted TV.
Yeah, that's a broken TV.
Is there anything else then? What do we want to wrap up? Did we talk about every character in detail? Kylo Ren, his emotions and his little scenes between both Rey and Luke were great. I like that standoff.
Yeah,
that standoff at the end was really epic. I thought it was like they gave Luke a proper badass send off. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish there'd been a bit more fighting between them before it ended. Yeah. But I guess that goes against what Luke wanted to do at the end. He basically wanted to be pacifist against him. But I really would have loved to see Luke fight again. Just one more time. Yeah. But still, it was badass. And he had some great like lines and expressions and facial expressions throughout. Like his eyes are so intense. He's aged so well to be like, he needs to get back into film. He needs to go back on screen. He needs to. Yeah. Outside of Star Wars, like I want to see him do more roles. Mm-hmm. He's amazing. What else? And then the shots. The scenes between Kylo Ren and Rey after they kill Snoke. It's a pretty epic way to kill Snoke, by the way, too.
That was fucking cool.
I like how he tricked him because he knew that Snoke could tell what he was gonna do, so he like made him think he was thinking of Rey, and then, got him.
I really liked that.
What I didn't like was how those people in red, maybe you guys can tell me, they must be pretty big deal, right? Those guys in red, those like elite guards.
They're protecting.
So if they're so fucking elite, how come all it takes is like one little bop on the head, and then Rey at one point bops one on the head with her bare hand, by the way. Maybe it had the Force in it. And she like grabs them like this as like she's fighting another one with her other hand. Mm-hmm. And this one that she's got is apparently unconscious at this point. He's got a helmet, and he's doesn't move. Just kind of goes limp and just lets her hold him as she like fights another guy with another hand and then throws him at him. It's like this guy just, but you can see him kind of moving too. It's like he's just out of it. So he's like, I'm not gonna fight anymore.
Maybe he got dinged in the head.
Yeah, I guess
he was
so.
all like,
Although outside of that moment, I didn't see too much wrong with the choreography, but that
Yeah,
one
I
in
didn't
particular
see
looked
much wrong
cheap
with
to
it.
me. It didn't. I felt like should have been rethought a little bit because it looked just wrong. It looked like the equivalent of a kung fu movie where the other guys kind of like stand in the background, not attacking the hero, waiting for their turn to attack. That was the equivalent to me. But yeah, it was a pretty epic scene though. It was a pretty fun one to watch play out.
I'll agree with that for sure.
And we find out that Kylo Ren wasn't just going completely good, but he was deciding that he wanted to like rule he just wanted to change the guard, really.
Yeah.
And it's hard to decide whether he's dark still or that he's decided after killing Snoke that he's like the supreme Sith, or maybe he just wants something completely new, but he's not 100% good either.
I feel like that's the case.
He's just got a lot of rage in him. He's got a lot of temper tantrums left.
He temper tantrumed so quick in the
Very
movie.
quick. You didn't have to wait long. He had a very early temper tantrum. It was very satisfying. Yeah, I think that's the main thing.
Kylo.
Yeah, he's quite
Thank you.
He's quite the Kylo Ren. Benicio del Toro was in it, and his character was awesome.
Yeah, man.
He was my favorite character in the whole film.
He was really
so good.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yep.
It was funny because like as soon as like they show that dude they're looking for, and they're like, we need to go find the guy. We gotta go find the guy with the red thing on his face or on his button on his boutonniere. And
So many clothes.
they find the guy, and he's in there, and I was like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, finally, an interesting fucking character in these scenes between Rose and Poe and Finn. And like that guy looked fucking interesting. I couldn't wait for scenes with him. I thought he was gonna be like, you know, what's the guy from Hitchhiker's Guide? Beeblebrox, Zaphod Beeblebrox type of character.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, Star Wars could use a guy like that. Like, he's fun. He looks fun. And then they don't use him. But then they replaced it with something pretty cool. I really hope he's back.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I hope he enters back into it as another element. Like, that he comes back for some reason. Because he was cool. Mm-hmm. I loved his mannerisms and his speech impediment. Mm-hmm. It was everything about it. That right there is what I'm talking about when I say guys who pop. Like, he just jumps off the screen at you. He just lives
Every second he's on the screen, I thought was entertaining.
He commands your attention. You're sitting there waiting to see what he's gonna do next. Mm-hmm. He's so cool, and it's not just because the character's cool. It's also because the actor just bleeds charisma. Like, it's insane how good he is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it didn't help, I guess, for Finn that like he's acting next to this guy. That's a pretty hard act to in contrast between them really showed the lack of personality, in my opinion, from Finn. I know I'm probably pissing off a lot of people. I'm sorry. I don't love your bae. I don't. I don't love him. And I despise your other bae if you like Rose. I despise her.
I think that she's probably also a decent actress.
Sure. I'm not disparaging any of the actors. I really I could end up loving them in something one day. I'm just saying, for this moment in time, I just not having it. I was waiting for those scenes to be done. Anything else? For those of you who say that I talk all the time and don't let Becky talk, I'm the talker.
True that.
See? Like, she doesn't even have anything to say now. Because she's somebody who really simmers her opinions. Like, she like needs time to really formulate them, and like sometimes she doesn't even know that she likes a film until way later, and she's like, you know what? I liked that.
I really like that movie.
Now that I think about it, it happened with Baby Driver.
Man, I really like Baby Driver.
Yeah, she loves it now, even though when she came out, she's like, I don't know.
Okay.
BB-8 had some really cool hero scenes, which I thought. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. BB-8, when he gets into that little box and pretends to be an Imperial droid, makes a sound that had stuck with me when I was a kid. He makes the exact sound of the Imperial droids when you first see them on the star, on the Death Star back in the original film in A New Hope. The He does an impression of it, and it's so good. I liked it.
I think that's really cute. I was glad that you brought that up to me because I would never have known that. But that's like cute little touches that I think that Star Wars fans, like fanatics,
it was a nod. Yeah. And it was a nod without being like blatant and over the top fan service, which there was a little bit too much of in this. Some fan service was a bit too far, I thought. And I can't. I'm trying to think of examples.
It was a really long movie.
It was long, but it was packed and it was
2.5
paced
hours.
well.
It was, but there were some parts where I was like, "That's kind of just like, was all that part necessary?" Like,
which
I guess it was. I mean, I know it was necessary, but the casino part, I just did that.
It was adventure. It was like palate cleanser. It didn't need to. It was driving forward.
And I liked the parts there.
Yeah, they were a feast for the eyes.
Yeah.
Really, it was a palate cleanser. Like of course, the main plot is what's going on with the fleet.
Yeah.
And their standoff. But this is critical because they need to find the code breaker. So they might as well spice it up a bit, like, and so they made it an interesting search for the code breaker.
Okay, yeah.
That's what they did, was try to make it as,
just thinking because, like, that part didn't even...
And it was still action-packed.
Pan out.
And then Rose had to ruin the action when she, like, says, well, it was still worth it to ruin that town or whatever. And she's like, wait. Unbuckles the fucking saddle. Now it was worth it. Ugh. They laid it on, the sentimentality was laid on so thick with her. When it was funny because it's like, you're putting in this sentimentality like there's a void in this film, like we needed a human element. Mm-hmm. It's right there in front of you. It's fucking Leia and her brother and their reunion that we're all waiting with bated breath for. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't need to inject other bullshit, other human, like just fucking... develop their characters, but I don't need like it like thrown in my face. I get it. She's an empathetic person. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I guess. The other thing I want to gripe about, and I'm sorry guys, I'm a little bit cynical about this, even though I enjoyed the film. Fucking Finn and Rey's relationship, the way they embrace when they see each other again, as though they're long lost friends. I know they've been through a little bit together, but it wasn't a lot. They got off that planet together. There were some close calls. Yeah, sure, they bonded, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But they act like they're old friends, like from childhood or something.
I don't know, maybe we need to rewatch it or something, because it does seem like there's a like really, really, really strong bond. Like the fact that when Finn first wakes up, the first thing he asks is,
which is weird. Which is weird to me. And if you think back on the other film, like he fought to try to help her and stuff like that. But everybody was fighting for their lives. It just, to me, it just feels odd that they don't even have like a connection. I feel like they don't even have similar backstories where they connected deeply on like a certain personal level or anything like that. They're just people who, like, I wouldn't even believe this. Like, I loved how Luke and Han didn't even seem to really... It took a long time for them to start to really bond.
Yeah.
Like, they had some, like, times where, yeah, we did it and stuff like that. Or, like, like, I'm glad you're safe. And even, I think, a hug probably in the first film, I think, when they see each other again after Luke comes back from the Death Star. Mm-hmm. But it's not like oh, my God. If you had died, I just don't know what I'd do with myself. Like, it just, I couldn't, like, that sort of thing. It was a believable two strangers who'd met, battle-weary soldiers, slowly develop their... Like, Han, in the second film, is leaving. And Luke's, you're leaving? Like, come on, we need you. And he's like, sorry, kid. Like, he's a fucking badass. Yeah. Like, he meets lots of people who he grows bonds with, but it doesn't mean that he wants to fucking get married. Yeah. It's just, I just feel like in this, they're kind of, like, getting a little too thick with the emotion. In this world where, I'm sorry, but the Rey should be a little bit more rough around the edges. She grew up on Tatooine by herself as an orphan, yet she's so emotionally invested in maybe she was always searching for somebody. Go ahead.
You, like, pulled yourself out of the shot. I'm done. I bet so many people loved the part where Poe and Rey shake hands.
Oh, where they
because
meet?
they like, actually meet.
Yeah, and it's like... what I wanted was for Rey to get up from, she was cleaning BB-8, right, or something like that, or brushing him.
Yeah, like fixing his antenna.
Yeah. What I wanted was for her to be up and get up and be like, I'm sorry, do I know you? And him be like, oh, I'm like one of the main cast members. And for him, her be like, oh, you have speaking parts. Not as an actress, I mean like as a character. And right, like it's like this in everything, right? Like in so many shows and films, it's like you've got this huge thing going on, this huge plot that involves so many people's fates, but only this one group is allowed to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And nobody else matters.
Nobody else was going up to Ray and being like,
hey, how you
I'm
doing?
Becky,
Hi, Ray.
so good to meet
Yeah,
you.
so good to be. I guess it's because Poe had heard so much from Finn.
Yeah.
Finn was apparently out of it. That doesn't make sense,
no,
actually, now that I think of it.
Earlier in the previous episode, in the previous one.
How had he
Finn
heard about Rey?
Talked to Poe about Rey.
Really?
I'm
Okay,
pretty
I don't
sure,
remember. Okay, all right, that's why.
I'm pretty sure.
All right, so there you go. That's why.
They did lots of fighting. With
We've talked about that, I guess.
no, with the
lightsabers.
no on
With
the A-wings and
the shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun.
Stuff was going
There were some
on,
really
too.
epic battle scenes. I like the Star battle scenes, like with the shooty and the bits where they fly. Those were all good.
Yeah.
They were fun to watch, and they were really the big, beautiful. Actually, that was like a work of art. After the heroic admiral goes through them with her light speed.
Yeah.
By the way, inertia doesn't work that way, but maybe light speed does. Is able to cut things like a laser. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, large object meets small object.
You don't know light speed.
I mean, bullet goes through big things too. Maybe it acts like a bullet. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why inertia. But then it should have just been like
I
a
know
small
light speed.
pin. Like it shouldn't have destroyed. Whatever. I don't know if it works, but I'm sure there's a sci-fi reason why it was able to cut that thing in half. But that looked beautiful. It was incredible looking.
Yeah.
It was so cool the way that they just took out all sound
Yes.
and then showed everything like it was almost like a painting, like how everything had was coming apart, and then
that part.
Yeah, that was beautiful. It was very satisfying.
The kid beside me had fallen asleep, and then it went silent at that part, and then it was like, woo!
Yeah.
And his legs just went flying. His dad was like, "It's okay,
Yeah.
okay, buddy." He was like, maybe 8 or something.
Overall, I have to say, I felt obligated to go see this film. I'm not, and I was a huge Star Wars film fan, maybe not as big as some of you, but I loved them. I watched them more than almost, I think, anything. Maybe them and Jurassic Park. I love the original trilogy. And, but these days, I'm satisfied by them, but I'm the same way that I am with I don't know, a sandwich. But I'm not going around talking about how this sandwich is the best sandwich I ever had.
You usually do whenever I make you a real good sandwich.
Yeah, you make some good ones. This is a bad analogy, but it's not blowing me away, which is kind of sad because I was hoping that they would. I hoped it with the first one, it didn't. I hoped it with this one, it didn't. But they're satisfying, which is nice. But is that enough? I really want more. I want more Rey, really. I felt as one of the pivotal characters, I didn't feel like I got enough of her. Mm-hmm. I feel like
I like that you like her.
She's the glimmering hope for me to really make these films something special. And so far you're seeing that might happen. Her rage and her defiance to Snoke was great. She has an amazing charisma that really, she puts so much life into that character that I loved.
Yeah.
Her defiance is incredible. I love it. And that she has the perfect face for it, being defiant. Uh-huh. And even Snoke was impressed. I liked how he's you're a true Jedi. It's now you gotta die.
Yeah.
But as far as fan service goes, and this isn't really just fan service. I think this actually made a lot of plot sense, and it was beautiful to see Luke interact with his master once more. That was amazing, and that must have been a big deal to Mark Hamill. He
Yeah.
must have loved that. That was the actual puppet, I think. But if it it was fatter. It looked like it got fatter.
Oh, man, shit happens
But
when
I
you get
think
old.
they got one of the original puppets.
Really?
Yeah. It was adorable.
Huh.
And just like, and he
I
hits him
didn't
on the
know
head
that.
one more time. Like, that was,
Bops him on the
a
nose.
ghost hit him on the head. That was great.
Yeah.
And I love that he came to finish the job. Like, he's like,
Yeah.
and that he laughs at him that he just hit it with lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And also him saying like, "Oh, you've read them."
Page turners, they are not.
Yeah.
No, that was really good. And I'm hoping, Frank Oz is still alive, right?
Yeah.
So did he do them?
I'm sure he did.
Again? Like, did he reprise
I think I
it?
saw his name.
I want to see behind the scenes then. I want to see Hamill and Oz interacting and like that whole thing happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really good. You could tell that Hamill has put his heart.
Radiger.
Hey, stop that. Rediger's bugging Hugo.
Sorry.
See, Lisa's getting bigger, so Rediger doesn't feel like he's the top dog anymore because he's getting older, and Lisa's so spry, so he has to dominate Hugo to feel like he's in charge still. Yeah. Anyways, you can tell Hamill's heart is in this role. Like, he really gave himself over to it, and like it came across. I would say, if anything, like he was the Rediger, come over here. That's right. You're a good kitty. He's coming. His performance was masterful, and he really made the film for me, I'd say. Like, he was the number one, the best element of the entire thing.
Yeah. He was really, really good.
It was a great send-off.
Uh-huh.
So
I think
now,
for him and Leia.
what are they gonna do about Leia? Like, everybody thought when we saw like this moment, like where she's gonna be blown up by Kylo Ren, that was gonna be
I know. So many times I thought
the
she was
that's how they were gonna write the character out, but now she's this is gonna be awkward. Like, how are they gonna do it? The next film, they're just gonna like be like, I don't know. They
have everything we need.
Leia's on her way over. See, she's on that little transport, and all of a sudden it blows up. Oh, fuck! Like, how are they gonna do it?
I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
They got a challenge on their hands.
They said they will never use CG to represent her likeness, or I don't know. Maybe like parts of the Resistance just get, or the Rebels get split off.
Their best chance is to jump ahead. It seems weird to cut out such a big death, but it just has to happen off screen. Yeah. And for it to jump ahead in the story and be like, even in the yellow text, after the demise of Princess Leia, and be like, everybody will be like, she's already dead. Mm. That's the best thing they can do. Yeah. And be like assassinated or something, like by Imperial spies or something like that. And like for the characters to reference it and be like, that was like, since she left, we haven't known where to go or what to do or something like that. Yeah. Something. Yeah, that's the best thing.
Did you read it in Deacon's George Lucas's voice?
No.
Because I absolutely
did. The opening?
Oh, yeah.
Wish we had him there for that.
Oh, my God.
Is that everybody and everything? I think it is. I liked the elements of the dark side, the way that she is enticed by it. I thought the exploration of the mirror cave, of course it was mirrors. Of course she sees herself.
So poetic.
Oh my God, it's just a rehash. Anyways, it still was well done of this demonstrating this abstract force thing and the dark side thing. Mm-hmm.
I like how Luke explained the force.
Yeah. Thank goodness that one dude in that trench explained to us that it was salt. If they hadn't put that line in there, I just don't know what I would have done. Probably would have walked out of the theater.
Well, you have been very upset.
Well, I did want to know, but then once I got there, I didn't want to know. It just felt so lame for him to be like, salt. My mother was killed by salt. Like, my dad ran away with a salt whore. Like, it's just like, what is this guy's, who hurt this guy? What was his history with salt?
Yeah, it's pretty pissed about it.
Like, but good on him. That was a great, I hope his acting career goes somewhere. Yeah, all right, that was the film. We liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I could see it being, this is very easy for me, but one of those films that in the future being like, what was that one about? What happened in that Star Wars film? But I've only seen all of the Star Wars films like once.
Certain scenes pop out, but the whole thing doesn't, like, as a whole. It was bits and pieces for me that I would highlight, but as a whole, it was just kind of muddy. So it was like jot notes, point form that I enjoyed. But the whole thing, I don't know. Yeah, that's my best I can give it.
It was a good film.
You have to see it.
Yes, you do.
You have no choice.
I avoided Twitter and Facebook for 2 whole days.
Yeah, the good thing is there isn't much to be spoiled.
Yeah.
There's not really anything. I guess Snoke dies, you could say. Luke dies. But
I wouldn't have liked to know either of
I kind of had a feeling it was definitely going to.
Really?
What I did like, actually, I can just say overall plot-wise, one of the things I did like is that they gave you kind of like a 180, like twice. They were like, holy shit, like, you know, fucking Poe's gonna, like, commit mutiny here. And, like, oh shit, his plan didn't go good. And then, oh shit, the plan is gonna, like, there was a backup and it is good. And oh shit, no, that's not good. So nobody seems competent. In the end, everybody seems incompetent. So that's great.
Yeah.
We have to reiterate that I think Kylo has the whole thing figured out. Let's start over. These people aren't good.
Yeah.
Let's start over.
All messy.
Let's wipe it out.
Mess.
Wipe it clean. Start over. All right. Thanks for watching our little thing, guys. And
we love you.
I hope you're not too pissed at us.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Goodbye.
Bye.